Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the day of the video. Darren, how's it going today? Today we're heading off into town. I'm rolling on in there now. It's not half as warm as I'm trying to make it look, or as warm as I thought it would be when I left without a hoodie and with shorts on. But you know, just suck it up and deal with it, don't you? What's been going on today, though, ladies and gentlemen? We got up early and we lay in bed for a bit, sorting out our to-do list for the weekend, trying to sort out everything that we want to get done and everything that we're aiming to finish over this weekend, and we got that all sorted. So I've got a list and that's what I'm doing now. I'm heading on out. I'm heading on out, A, to make use of the sunshine so I'm not stuck inside all day, B, to look at some stuff. I was going to go out and get a haircut, but I wasted some time this morning talking to people who think that it's illegal to pay income tax, and now don't get me wrong, it's mildly entertaining talking to people who think that it's illegal to pay income tax, but it's also mildly not, because I spent an hour diving through fucking laws to find where it says it is that you do have to pay income tax. God damn it. But so that was a whale of a time, absolute whale. And then I found the law, and then it says, yeah, but everything written 2D on paper is fiction. No, well, G fucking G. There's the end of that conversation, innit? Well, I can't bloody argue with that, can I? Gonna go and live with wolves and start eating humans, be a cannibal for a change, because fuck it, it's legal, because it's all fiction. I genuinely said that as well. And then they said something else, and then I said, yeah, but we're all dreaming, and one day we're gonna wake up and we're just snails. And then they blocked me, so that was fun. That's just the fun I have to deal with sometimes. Dad bloody commented on it and said, oh, Jamie will say that. So he waded me into that. They also threw down the gauntlet of not being able to find the law where it says you have to pay it, and I immediately found it. Or the US one. The UK one is actually kind of difficult to find. But you learn something new every day, and I did not expect to learn about income tax today when I woke up this morning. It was not on my to-do list of things to do. But we were heading, there's so many people out and about. I've decided again it's going to go get my hair cut. This is why I've gelled it and I've not left it flat. Next week I've got a 4-day weekend, and I may as well just wait till then when I've got more time than today. I'm heading into town at the moment. I've got my laptop and my camera. But while there are a couple of shops I want to go to, I'm not intending on buying anything except maybe a drink or lunch. My main intention is to walk down to where Cabot Tower is, and to go and write a blog. Maybe take some photos, I don't know. Yeah, truth be told, I'm on a bit of a tight budget for the next 2 weeks. Believe, let's put a figure on it, I think I've got 50 quid for both of the 2 weeks. I've got more than that, but I don't want to spend more than that. Of which, I think, how much of that's earmarked for tennis and stuff. Yeah, it's going to be tight, relatively tight. I've got plenty more I can dip into, but I want to put enough into my savings account to get it to a nice round number. So I'm being extra strict on myself. Like I said, this month was supposed to be the cheap month compared to next month, which is going to be relatively more expensive. Then the month after that's going to be cheap, and then back down to normal, stable, steady. So, but anyway, but yeah, so we're just going to head in. Like, I'm thinking about where to get a drink from, because it's not hot chocolate weather, so it's not Cafe Nero weather. But then where do you go? Where's a nice coffee shop? Always wondered how you get up there. And town or somewhere.
It brings people together.
Right, well, been in one shop, looked at what it is I want, and yep, there's that one. It was that simple. I'm looking for something, but I don't want it to, it is relatively cheap, and it's deliberately relatively cheap, but I didn't want it to look cheap. So yeah, this. Ooh. I'm looking for a nice quiet place to set up my camera, my laptop, and start blogging and stuff. There's quite a lot of nice places about town. It's making me think I might come down one day and take a load of like early morning. I've always said that, haven't I? I've always wanted to go in the evening or early morning with my camera and a tripod and set up and get some like time shots or something, I don't know. I nearly went to Slug and Lettuce because it's one of the few places you can sit outside and eat, but then I realised that they don't really have a lunch menu and it's all just really expensive, so I bought some sushi and some pomegranate from Sainsbury's instead. Happy days. Right, well, we're heading back, almost home now. Whenever you're sat down in a park wanting to write, it's always freezing and the wind gets you. And I spent ages trying to find somewhere where it was like wind sheltered but still sunny. And I gave up in the end. Start walking home, bakes. It's bloody boiling. Okay then, I am home and I am currently spending my time looking into dissertation stuff. The sooner I lock down my dissertation and figure out who my I'm mainly looking at different people who will be able to look at my dissertation and figure out like if it's good or not, I guess. But the sooner I can lock it down, the sooner I can start doing it, and there's a lot of work in it, so I want to kind of jump into it as soon as possible. It kind of needs, the problem is, like, it's kind of a 3-stage process. It needs something as a base. Like, okay, it's a program on its own. It then needs to be fed other programs to do what it's supposed to do, and then there's a report. So it's like a 3-stage process. But I really want to do it. I just want to find someone, you know. So while I'm working away on that, I'm going to warm up the oven, and we're going to cook dinner. It's just simple pie chips and mushy peas tonight. I've actually had pie chips and mushy peas in a bloody long time, and I'm hungry for it. So I'm going to have that while I'm tinkering away, admin stuff, and then we're going to be moving on to video editing after that. But I'm going to listen to some more of the world while I'm doing it because I need to get in the bloody zone. Sorry. So I've emailed 3 different people and I've had my dinner now, and one of them has replied in pure, like, it's very much his style. He's just replied with more on this later, but first here's an article of people who tried to change code automatically, and those people found it very hard to make changes that would still allow compilation. Flanter me, absolute flanter, flirty banter. I'm going to assume that's a no then. But yeah, I'm going to have a look into, I'm just washing up now, then I'm going to have a read into the scope of what they were doing. To figure out whether it's anything like what I want to do and why they had issues doing what they were doing. I mean, in theory, like, I don't know. In theory, I can't imagine it being too difficult to make changes to code without it, so that it doesn't fail compilation. I reckon that'd be quite simple, especially the kind of changes I'm looking at. But we'll see. Oh my gosh, I've been just washing. Oh, Jesus. So, happy birthday, ladies and gentlemen. Turns out my idea already exists. I've just, that's the way of the world, isn't it, these days? Everything's already been bloody invented. Turns out my idea, my bloody golden idea that I really wanted to do, has existed since the 1970s. It's just not very popular. I've never told you what my idea was, so I guess we'll get into that now, since it looks like, well, I'm not sure how I can do it if it already exists. Well, it proves it's possible, because it already exists. But, so, backstory. Netflix and Amazon have this piece of software that runs on their infrastructure called the Chaos Monkey. And the Chaos Monkey's job is essentially to go through their infrastructure and turn off servers. It just turns off things, just turns off services and drops programs that are running on the servers and just disconnects servers from the network completely. And the idea of this is that while the monkey is going around and turning stuff off, they are still able to deliver the product they're delivering. So it proves that their code is good, that they're not reliant on certain pieces of hardware being up and running. It means that they've got enough hardware to be able to deal with the stress of a lot of things coming all at once. So if they ever got like a lot of pressure to, say, I don't know, they were streaming something really important, I don't know, then they know that they can survive with like 3 servers off. So they should be able to, now they've got the 3 servers on, be fine. That's the idea of the Chaos Monkey. And also it means that you develop in a way where you don't become reliant on a certain server or whatever being online or stuff like that. So that's a piece of background information. I was then going through some code the other day. Well, I say the other day, about 2 weeks ago, and I made a change. We were making a change to where a variable was being set. Like we were setting it here. We're now moving that back to about here. No, we were setting it there, sorry, and we're now moving it to here. Obviously, assuming a left to right flow. So I took the variable setter out of there, and I was like, well, that's going to break a test because we should be unit testing whether this key piece of data is being implemented correctly. Ran all the tests, nothing failed. And I'm like, well, that's wrong. Something that should have failed. So there's my idea: a chaos monkey for code. It goes through code and it makes changes, making changes to like logical if statements or mathematical calculations, maybe even refactoring the code into a different way so it still outputs the same kind of stuff, but it injects like a different solution to the same problem. And then it reruns all the suite of unit tests, and if any of the unit tests pass, if any of the unit tests fail, then the unit tests have done the job. The unit tests are there to ensure that the state of the system is always the same. So the idea is that your unit tests cover small sections of code and they protect how well that code works. So if someone were to go on in there later and say change some variables around, in an attempt to fix a bug like elsewhere in the system, then the unit test would fail, saying, look, this piece of code doesn't function the way I'm expecting it to function anymore. So the unit test should, in theory, fail if certain things get changed within the scope of that unit test. So if they do fail, then the unit tests have done the job. Happy days, everyone passes. If they don't fail, and the Chaos Monkey decides that it should have failed, then the system fails. The unit tests fail the test. It's essentially a way of testing unit tests, because there's nothing to test unit tests unless you write unit tests around them, and then how do you unit test the unit test that unit test and the unit test, you know? So I had this idea, I emailed it to a couple of people, to John Power, Fabio and Hayes, the Who's, but Power pointed me towards another lecturer we have called Davenport, James Davenport, who's a maths lecturer actually. Or he might not be. He's very mathematical though. He comes from a mathematics background as opposed to a comp sci background, I think. And he immediately links me to something that this is already called. It's called, what's it called? It's called B-bugging. Instead of debugging, B-bugging. And it was invented in the 1970s. So, not very friggin' new. And it's lived around a bit. It then turned off into the hardware route where the Chaos Monkey was invented, the original Chaos Monkey. But then I was just doing some Googling around and found injection testing and then mutation testing. Mutation testing is essentially exactly what I described in the email, suggesting my brand new idea. And I've just found a service that you can use inside the .NET framework called Ninja Turtles that goes through and makes changes and assesses whether the unit tests have failed or not. So, happy birthday! So I don't know what that means in the sense that I don't know what that means because I've just found exactly what I was going to do. So how can I do a scientific research on that thing? So that's just kicked me. It's kicked me quite hard. That's super annoying. I wasn't expecting... I didn't know other people had thought of this, let alone finding literally fucking word for word the one that I wanted to do. That's the first idea I've had that I've like committed to, that I liked, and I'm like, yes, I like that idea. I'm going to do that idea. Well, at least I guess now I've got a reason to have a glass of wine. Wine and video editing. Back to the drawing board with wine. Problem is, I opened this like 2 weeks ago, and if you keep it for too long, it just goes off. So it's like you've got to drink it, you know. So I'm gonna have to drink it, aren't I? Fuck's sake. Sad thing is, as well, that's my last bottle. which means I do kind of need to buy a new bottle. I need to buy a new one just in case. Just in case you need an emergency wine bottle, you know all them crazy parties I'm going to all the time. Well, I need wine for them. Also, something I'm relatively surprised about, I've nearly finished my Malibu bottle, which was something that came apparent to me when I said Louis could have some. I'm like, there's only a little bit at the bottom now. It's mental. Because I've had that 2 years. 2 years. I'm like, how the hell have I drunk that in 2 years? Right. Well, let's get into some bloody video editing and hope we hit a brainwave on what project we want to do. Oh, man. Yep, that isn't all that nice. And that's the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. It's nearly midnight. I'm going to bed. Did a bit of editing, not an awful lot. To be honest with you, I'm a bit like deflated. I really wanted to do that project. So much so that I didn't even tell you what it was, because I didn't want it to be ruined. I just wanted it to be confirmed. As soon as I could confirm that I could do it, that would be when I'd, do it. But it doesn't look like that's going to be an option. It's really annoying. But if it already exists somewhere, then you can't do it again. Otherwise, other things that have annoyed me, my wine wasn't very nice. So there's that. And yeah, it's been a not massively productive evening. Bit depressing. Not 100% great. Oh dear. I'm tired. So I'm going to go to bed. And I'm going to wake up tomorrow early, 7:30, and we're going to do stuff. Bacon sandwiches tomorrow though, so let's get the bacon out. I like me a Sunday when we get bacon sandwiches in the morning, when I remember where my bacon is. Bacon! Yeah, at the bottom. Yeah, buddy. Get out of here, bacon. Shoo. Oh man. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Stay close. I am excited for the bacon. But yeah. Thank you very much for watching this video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed. But I'm going to get going. I'm going to head on to bed. Yeah, the wine was horrible, but it's a lot stronger than it's supposed to be for one glass. It's got to my head. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to try and think my way through the night as I think up different things that I can use potentially. Who knows? I'll catch you later.